Remember the comforting aroma of the homemade silky tofu your grandmother cooked for Sunday roast? The mouth-watering smell of steaming broccoli? No, me neither. I grew up with good old meat in the limelight. So why do we eat animals? Some say it's all about the taste, but what if there's more to it? Don't you want to find out? After all, we have to know what we would leave behind if one day we all went plant-based. This is quite evident, but we have to start somewhere. Eating animals is ingrained in our culture. A lot of our food is made from plants, especially when it comes to side dishes. But you can't be a real omnivore without eating meat. And we like to give it a special attention. Take the English language for example. The word meat comes from Old English, and originally it meant food, nourishment, sustenance. In most cultures, meat has high value. This shouldn't surprise us. Eating only plants is an unusual thing for humans. We have been eating an omnivorous diet all over the world since the dawn of times, while there hasn't been a single herbivorous civilization yet. Zero. Zilch. None. I wonder why. Survival instincts? A global misunderstanding? A lack of interest? Did we really think this through? We can't just cancel the diet of thousands of generations with a well-coordinated marketing campaign. But I'm getting ahead of myself. The closest a nation got to a meat-avoiding society is India, where about 1/3 of the population consider themselves vegetarian, mostly for religious reasons. The majority of them are lacto-vegetarians, so they still include a lot of dairy products in their diets, such as butter, ghee, milk, yogurt, or cheese like paneer. The love of cows and their products means that India has about as many cattle as China, the United States, the European Union, Australia and New Zealand combined, making India the #1 on the list of countries with the most cattle. That's a lot of animals. Who's gonna tell the people that the tradition of sacred cows is no longer seen as a gift from the gods and they should all eat margarine instead of ghee? For a lot of people, traditions define who they are. .8 billion Muslims celebrate Eid al-Adha, which means the Feast of Sacrifice. The most iconic element of this religious festival is the ritual slaughtering of an animal. What is exactly sacrificed? A goat? A cow? Or even camels? It symbolizes the believer's obedience and submission to God, commemorating the story of Abraham, known from both the Quran and the Bible. But there's more to it. The meat is traditionally shared between family, friends and the poor, so the act of sharing is the real sacrifice, the willingness to give up a valuable resource. Who's gonna tell the people that in the New World Order all of this will be banned as a barbaric relic of the past? Think about this. Muslims make up a quarter of the world population and happen to be the fastest growing religion on earth. For those who can afford it, meat is a daily staple which is in line with what the Quran says about using animals for the benefits of humans. What other justification do you need when God says it's okay to eat animals? While some luckier people are busy gluing themselves to a Starbucks counter because they charge a few cents extra for plant-based milk, billions of other people are in a little more challenging situation. Come on, let's meet them. There are still tribes in Africa and the Amazon rainforest who know what humans knew in 99% of our history. With plants alone, you're not gonna make it if you live in the wild. Unless you're a herbivore. They love plants, but I wouldn't really ask for their nutritional advice. What is ideal for gorillas may not work for humans. Imagine you're stranded on an island. No pepperoni pizza with triple cheese to get you through the day, just good old Mother Nature. So, when you get hungry, you would face the same problem every living thing has to solve. What's for dinner? You could pick berries, or nibble on the less suspicious leaves or mushrooms for a while. You might even get lucky with some. But you're still hungry, and time is running out. For humans in the past, this island was the whole world. Foraging edible plants and hunting wild animals is what we did for millions of years before the invention of agriculture. The higher the latitude, the more meat was in the diet. And the people who came before us explored every nook and cranny of the planet, all the way up to the Arctic Circle. Which brings us to the next stop in our journey. The more than 40 different ethnic groups lived the traditional life of their ancestors, sustaining themselves by hunting, fishing, and by eating the meat, milk, fat and blood of their herds. The soil is frozen and there is very little vegetation, so the only chance to produce food here is animals. The indigenous people in the north have one thing in common with other animal-based cultures all around the globe. Whether it's seal, fish or reindeer in the very cold climates, or goats, sheep, cattle or camels in other parts of the world, these people rely on animals for sustenance. There are up to 500 million nomads and pastoralists in about 2/3 of all countries around the world. According to the Environment Program of the United Nations, pastoralism is increasingly recognized as one of the most sustainable production systems on the planet and plays a major role in safeguarding ecosystems and biodiversity in natural grasslands and rangelands. The concept is simple. Since the terrain is too dry or too wet, too cold or too hot, too hilly, steep, high or stony to be used for anything else reliably and sustainably, these people move their animals across these lands and transform the native grasses and shrubs into food that is edible for humans. Who's gonna tell the people that their traditional way of existence is not an option in a plant-based universe? The thing is, the everyday reality can be very different for those who don't have to worry about the choice between dairy and almond milk. In the developing world, 2.6 billion people live on less than $2 a day. 1.4 billion are extremely poor, surviving on less than $1.25 a day, mostly in sub-Saharan Africa and South Asia. About 90% of the world's extremely poor are small-scale farmers, living in rural areas, and for them animals are necessary for providing food security. So important that livestock is sometimes called the ATM for poor farmers. Eggs, milk and meat are not only the most nutrient-dense foods in these places, making them essential for health, but an irreplaceable element of their income, as they can be traded for other food staples such as grains. Ruminants like cattle or goats can eat organic waste and crop residues, the inedible parts of plants. Their manure can increase crop production and they can be used as draft power. Livestock is even more essential for those who don't own or rent the land, as the animals can be taken to common grazing areas or fed gathered forages, so for them animals are everything. Who's gonna tell the people that they will all have to work in factories, garbage dumps and heavy metal mines when the animals are gone? Eating is much more than physical need. It feeds our soul. It brings us together. It means joy, comfort, satiety, some of the most important moments in our life. We can call it pleasure or happiness. But wait, couldn't these be felt without the taste of animals? This is a question you have to answer for yourself, but apparently the majority of cultures and the number of fake meat products popping up on supermarket shelves and in fast food restaurants tell us a different story. A story we have known since we could call ourselves human. Eating animals is part of the package. This is who we are. Look at the national cuisines. No, not the standard American diet. That makes people ill. Millions of restaurants, recipe books and the 100th season of MasterChef all remind us what we like to put on our plate. Bean burgers, mushroom risottos or ratatouille are all honorable mentions, and let's not forget about desserts, but the real heroes of our gastronomic culture are the animal-based dishes. Who's gonna tell the people they shouldn't be so crazy about the food we all took for granted? No wonder even the fake meat companies will sell you their bread, disguised as a steak, their soybean chunks pretending to be chicken or fish, rather than telling the customer what these products really are. But don't have illusions about the intentions of the plant-based companies. They didn't invest several $billion to help people transition to eating minimally processed bean burgers, mushroom risottos or ratatouille. If people want meat, they will get meat in the form of industrial sludge, molded into shape with 10 different additives, colorants, flavor enhancers, emulsifiers, stabilizers, thickeners and the inevitable vitamin and mineral supplements to make up for the nutrients that are missing from those plants. But hey, not to worry. This is humanity's new culinary art. Ladies and gentlemen, meet your new master chef with a little twist, the biochemist. Bon appétit! What's the secret of meat? What do our taste buds want to tell us? Why don't we feel such a primal attraction to broccoli? We will find out in the next episode, when I look into the physiology of humans and how we compare to other animals to better understand why we eat them. For now, let's just state the obvious. Whether you like to get your daily dose from Walter White or the butcher, the message is crystal clear. We love eating animals. They're perfectly edible after all. You may be wondering what this is all about. A joke? The ramblings of a madman? A desperate attempt of the meat industry to make our dinners great again? Look, I'm not gonna tell you what the perfect diet is. You can eat plant-based, keto, carnivore, cookitarian, it's none of my business. I'm obsessed with getting down to the bottom of things. And I sense a good story around the whole world should go plant-based crusade. It just doesn't add up. Ready to do a little digging? I wanna know it all. Not just the polished, cherry-picked version, but everything. The good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm sure you heard about the good. Perhaps you think that cutting out meat completely will help you stay fit and young, or just trying to do the right thing to save the planet, as you heard it from Greta, Bill Gates, or your favorite celebrity advertiser on TikTok. We've already got a loud crowd out there glorifying plant eating, so I've decided to check out the rest. Where there is light, there's usually shadow too. Who's gonna tell the French? There's no more cheese in the land of breeze, or break the news to the poor Chinese. There's no more quack in their Peking duck. Eat wallpaper paste? Oh, what the... When should we ban the ham in Parma? Eating mutton is bad for karma? Tell the Germans their worst is the worst. Soy is blessed but meat is cursed. The end of salmon in Norway? No way. Microwave chef, plastic gourmet. No more sashimi in Japan. Is it Satan sizzling in my pan? No Jamaican jerky or Irish stew. Just tapping my phone in the drive-thru, waiting for my meatless order. In a brand new world with no border. 1,000 years of culinary art. Off it goes in one big... It was a bit harsh, mate. Yeah, it's gotta be strong.